Breaking now on Denver 7 News at 6. Hurricane Ian is moving closer to the Florida coast.
If you can leave, just leave now.
We're live from Tampa, where evacuation efforts are already underway.
A family custody battle ends in the death of an Arvada police officer.
We have this confrontation, and then someone decides to go get a weapon. And that's when things really go south.
New details about what happened the night Officer Dylan Vakoff was killed from the suspect's point of view.
Flight attendants will be picketing outside DIA today.
We want to make sure that our flight attendants are rewarded for their service.
I asked the union spokesperson what changes they want to see.
And this Longmont pup is already top dog in his owner's eyes.
Feel very lucky to have him in my life.
How you can help him win a nationwide competition.
Scrappy little thing there.
Yes,
I like him.
very adventurous. Already with the cutest name, Gizmo.
Yeah.
We're going to introduce you to Up for Country's cutest dog coming up. Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. We want to get over to Jason Luber right now because there is a mess on the roads. Traffic on I-225 has come to a stop.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a rollover crash, and Aurora police are still investigating it right now. So all northbound lanes are closed down here at Colfax. So I'll show you on the cameras here. So this is 17th Place. They had it closed down at one point right here, but it's now closed back here at Colfax, and traffic is backing up all the way back to Alameda. So let me show you on the map ways to get around it. On the northbound side of I-225, since it's closed down, a lot of folks are trying to use Peoria and Havana. Those are pretty crowded, but Sable up to about 38th or so, and I think Chambers Airport, those are much better ways, Lisa, to get around it. So we are going to see those delays, unfortunately, with that northbound closure.
And still plenty of sunshine this morning. There's a few more clouds over Denver right now, but you can see off to the east, clear skies. And so we're going to be in for another bright drive. Well, that was a bright drive. Take a look at your bus stop forecast here early this morning. Low 50s as your kids are getting ready, walking out the door, heading off to school with some sunshine. We'll see a few isolated storms, partly cloudy skies here this afternoon. Coming up, we'll take a look at when we go from 80s to 60s on the Super 7 Day.
Well, our breaking news this morning, Hurricane Ian is still churning into the Gulf of Mexico. It is now a Category 3 storm. It made landfall in western Cuba earlier this morning, and it is still on track to move towards Florida's west coast. You can see on this map here the projected path. It could make landfall early Thursday morning with 120-mile-an-hour winds.
ABC's Justin Finch is live in Tampa right now. Justin, seems to be pretty quiet behind you right now. You can tell us about that, but preparations have been underway for days.
Nicole, Brian, good morning. You're right. This could effectively be the quiet, the calm before the storm. It's a really nice morning here so far, but we do know based on the National Hurricane Center, that's all on track to change in very short time. That Florida could begin to see the effects of Hurricane Ian as soon as later today, and already the area is responding. Evacuations here beginning yesterday, we saw. Some were mandatory in Hillsborough and Pinellas County, right in the Tampa metro. Lee County just this morning announcing evacuations there as well. Schools closing in the area to reopen as shelters at least until Thursday or Friday as an option for people who already want to get out and make sure they're somewhere safe ahead of this storm. As you mentioned, there is concern this could arrive on the west coast of Florida as a Category 3 hurricane, and the real concern in this area of Tampa is a storm surge. We're talking about as much as 10, 12 feet or more of water could just inundate this area where so many people live. And the fact is that this area has not seen a storm like this in over 100 years. And so no one here really knows how this will look. Even today, with the track of this storm, it's not really clear. That's why the governor and officials are urging everyone who can just to leave now. That means time is now ticking for those who are deciding their next steps, whether to stay here and hunker down or begin to evacuate. Over here at Tampa's airport, they are suspending operations at 5 o'clock, giving tourists here just hours to make up their minds and get out of town.
Yeah. So, Justin, it sounds like people are taking it seriously.
Very many people here taking it seriously. Some are saying, they thought it wouldn't be a big deal, but as they see this storm move, where it's going, how it's moving, what it's doing in Cuba right now, they had no choice but to act seriously and make precautions. Many of them choosing to leave, going just as close as Orlando, not really that far, just trying to get away from the coast and that threat. In Tampa, I'm Justin Finch, Denver 7. Ryan Nicole, back to you.
Justin, yeah, thank you. Two major cities right in the path with Tampa and Orlando right behind it.
Well, he didn't know any police were there. That's the claim from the suspect accused of killing Arvada police officer Dylan Vakoff. Denver 7 obtained the arrest affidavit for Sonny Almanza. It says Almanza was taking his kids home to Arvada after he learned his ex had left them with other young family members. She and her family were there in Arvada when they got back, and a fight started in the street. Almanza says he got out an AR-15 and shot his ex's sister in the leg. He said he was shot during the fight. He claims he turned around and saw someone about a car's distance away. Remember, this was in the middle of the night. He fired one round. The affidavit says that's when Officer Vakoff was shot twice. Almanza says he didn't realize he had shot an officer until Vakoff hit the ground. We spoke to a retired detective who says domestic violence situations can be some of the most dangerous calls police respond to.
There's just always that over-the-top emotions. And then you have a law enforcement officer who walks into the situation that maybe it took years to get to this situation, and they're expected to solve this problem within seconds.
And taking a closer look here, the FBI keeps track of law enforcement officer deaths. As of Monday, 49 officers have been killed trying to do their jobs this year. 8 were victims of an unprovoked attack.
Well, we all know homelessness is a growing issue across the metro, and now the city of Denver is putting out a new plan to get more people off the streets. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us live this morning because part of this includes more affordable housing, and that's a tall order.
It is more affordable housing, more programs that can go ahead and help our homeless population as well. These are just a couple of the priorities that the city of Denver is going into as the year goes and moves ahead. You know, some other things that the city really wants to focus on is creating those affordable homes, but making sure that there are more than 1,700 of them for anyone out there who's in need. It also wants to expand pathways to owning a home. So that means really boosting that down payment program and really others like it. The city wants to help more than 8,000 households with housing stability. That means getting them that eviction legal defense and foreclosure prevention. The continued support of safe outdoor spaces and safe parking programs, those are outlined in this plan as well. So we know that there are many of those unsheltered homeless neighbors of ours who need that help. When it comes to families, the city wants to invest in more hotel options for them as well as case management. And the city is opening this up to public comment. It wants anyone out in the community to go ahead and join a virtual public meeting. That's going to happen on October 18th at 5:30 in the afternoon. There's also a survey that anyone can take part in. That'll be open until October 26th. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Thank you, Veronica. You'll notice a different kind of line out at DIA today, picket lines. Both Southwest and United flight attendants will be outside holding signs, waving and asking people to support them. United's attendants want the company to fix ongoing operational disruptions and focus on labor relations that support people on the front lines. As for Southwest, their demands include higher pay, more control over their schedules, and a place to rest and food when they're traveling, among other things. I talked to one local flight attendant and a union leader about the increased stress on flight attendants. What have you guys seen happening in recent years up till now?
We had a record number of assaults across the industry, especially with the pandemic and the mask issues. And we were with reduced schedules, canceled, technology failures, and this entire time, the flight attendants of Southwest Airlines just smiled and said, "Hey, we've got to do this for our company, and we're going to do it for our passengers." We want to make sure that our flight attendants are rewarded for their service.
Southwest flight attendants will picket in 11 cities, including Denver today. Since they're off duty, it will not disrupt any flights. And taking a closer look, Southwest is actually in the midst of a hiring spree. They've hired and trained 3,000 flight attendants this year so far. That's nearly triple its record cabin crew member hiring in all of 2018. Southwest and other airlines are looking for more employees to keep up with the rebound in travel demand since the pandemic ended. Well, a pretty rare event in the night sky. Jupiter was the closest to Earth it's been since 1963.
Yeah, did you see it? Because by close, we mean it's still 367 million miles away. But check out these pictures from the night sky in Kiowa in Elbert County. Which one is Jupiter? I don't
yeah,
know.
the bright one?
It
Yeah.
still looks pretty magnificent. Israr Hawk shared these to our Discover Colorado through your photos Facebook group, so we appreciate that. Jason, how's it looking on the roads?
All right, we're getting better on 225. Just in the last 5 minutes, we have an update. So this is a secondary crash. This is the northbound side of 225 between 6th Avenue and Colfax. And you can see we have all this activity on the left shoulder right now after we had this major closure of northbound 225 between Colfax and I-70. That has since reopened in just the last 5 minutes, which is helping us out. But now this new crash is going to keep this northbound side, at least closed down for some time. So we're going to see some delays coming up from Iliff on up to Colfax.
Well, everything dry this morning, but there is a slight chance for a few thunderstorms here this afternoon. We're looking at temperatures in the 50s as you step out the door this morning. We'll be in the upper 60s by 11 and then mid 70s right around 1 o'clock. There will be that slight chance for a thunderstorm or two today. Erie 78, Keensburg today a high of 80, Denver right around 80, and 60s to low 70s in the mountains here this afternoon. Now coming up in a few minutes, we'll see that slight chance for a few storms today. It's going to get pretty warm, though, here Wednesday and Thursday before more fall-like conditions settle in for the weekend. I'll have your full weekend forecast on the Super 7 Day in just a few minutes.
All right. Well, so many of us would love to see more concerts, but the tickets can be so expensive.
Well, what if you didn't have to think about it and just paid one price to see live music all over the country, including some venues in Colorado?
Jackpot. I like the sound of that. Also, everybody, this dog named Gizmo. He's from Longmont, and he's in the running for an international competition, so he needs your help with the voting. I'll tell you about that coming up next.